Hello, BookTube. All right, we're at attempt number 3 to film a Friday MegaStuff video, and 3 is all you get. I started it, and somebody actually knocked on the door to interrupt me. And then I started it again, and the camera fell over. Just fell over. Suddenly you're looking at the ceiling. And that's it. So this is the 3rd time. Otherwise, you don't hear from me today. We're going to give this one more try. This is a Friday MegaStuff video where I pull together a bunch of little items that won't make a whole video on their own. I've now done this twice before, so I'm going to try to leave a rote note out of my voice. But we're going to start off with babies. Now, the last 2 times, I started off with Frida. I put her on my lap, but she's as annoyed as I am by all of this ridiculous stuff. So I'm not going to do that this time. We'll see if she's willing to make an appearance on a different video today, or in this one later on. But I do want to show you your babies, starting with this magnificent creature. Look at that. And then we have these two. An adult and a puppy, but both very big, as you can see by the scale of the tree. And then one person sent, the original call for these pictures was for pictures of your Shakespeare, of your books in your library. And one person actually sent me pictures of books this time around. And it was a little bittersweet because it reminded me that maybe I don't want you to be sending me pictures of books because they would fill me with longing. And this one definitely does, because this is a set I used to have. Look at this. Look at how beautiful that is. That is the Patrick O'Brian, Aubrey and Maturin novels in the box set that they came in about 20 years ago, with, I believe, an originally commissioned artwork for the artwork of the collected spines by the guy who did the American covers for the whole series, where you get a few books in each of the hardcover volumes in here. I used to have this set, and it's fantastic. I love box sets anyway, and I don't have it anymore. I would never have sold this to the Brattle. It must be that I gave it to somebody. But there it is, big as life. And this is a bit of a BookTube celebrity. That is Blue from Jason's channel, Old Blues Chapter and Verse. Jason tells me that he is in mid-yawn. I don't believe that. That looks homicidal. It doesn't look like a yawn. Then again, everything about cats looks homicidal. And then we have this wonderful-looking person. Look at that, a standard poodle with a standard poodle cut. I'm told this dog is the boss. And then these two. These two are so cute. Look at how adorable they are. Look at those little noses. Each one of these is probably smaller than Frida. I would never have thought that I would get to the point where I would be a little dog person, but now I am. so there you go. Then what else were we doing before catastrophe struck twice? Tech updates. I mentioned yesterday that the Nook app on my 7 of 9, on my one device to rule them all, was acting up. That it wasn't taking book uploads anymore, even though it was nowhere near its limit in terms of uploads. And just this morning, it started taking uploads again, and I thought, okay, well, I was right. Then it was just messing with the code of one particular problematic book, and when it solved that problem, then everything was fine. But it won't open the books. It uploads them, but it won't open them. So it's still working out things, and I'm just hoping that it continues to do that, because I don't have any option any other way. The sort of, nuke it from orbit option would be to delete the app and download it again, and I can't do that as long as I'm locked out of my Comcast account. So I'm stuck with this Nook app the way it is on that one device. It's not a big urgent problem, because first of all, the books are uploading on this Nook app, and they weren't yesterday, so that's a step in the right direction. But also, I have many other apps on this same device that will open and read ebooks. I just happen to like the Nook. And also, the Nook app will work on all of my other devices. I don't know if you could hear that, but we have, in fact, been joined by the bean. Oh, there you go. There she is. And there's a little belch. She's been a little odd today because it's dark and cloudy, and she has very specific preferences for weather. Very specific preferences. Basically, autumnal weather. She likes autumnal weather. Not too cold, especially not too hot, not windy, especially not rainy. And if she gets that, she's okay. Then she's normal during the day. But if the weather is off, she will be off. She'll just sulk. But anyway, there you go. You got your Frida. And you also got your tech update, which is that I have the ability to read on all of the devices that I have. It's just annoying because I wanted to offload everything onto this one device, and it's acting up, and that is odd. It is not acting up. The Nook app isn't acting up on any of my other devices, just on this one, the one where I wanted it to the most. And then I had mail. to do in the previous 2 attempts that I've had to do. There's been mail. Now, the last 2 attempts, we only got, the first time I was stopped before I could get to the mail. The second time I was stopped after the first book. So 1 book is open, and I'll show you that. It's a gift. It came from one of you. See, it's not from a publisher. And it's a collection of Basho's haiku, translated by David Young. It's called The Moon Woke Me Up 9 Times. And it's just a slim little thing that is a collection of Basho's haiku. So I guess whoever sent this, the card that it came with, the signature is illegible, and the return address on the envelope is also damn near illegible. So I'm not 100% sure who sent this. I imagine they'll let me know in an email. But they must think highly of this volume, and that's fine by me. That's enough to get me to read it. Although, once again, I want to stress, we shouldn't be sending me presents, right? This is the second one, right? We got this thing this week. This dog is my dog. A sweatshirt. Lovely prints on the front and back that was a gift, unsolicited, from one of you. We can't have that. We must nip that in the bud. But I'm very happy to have both of these, the sweatshirt and the book. So that's wonderful. I imagine that in a couple of months, probably by late December, it will be cold enough to wear the sweatshirt and read the book here in Boston. Still shorts and t-shirt weather. Shorts, t-shirts, and sandal weather on the 2nd of October here in Boston. And with what can only be referred to as lying shill forecasters on the mainstream media, referring to this as typical fall weather. and I'm just staring at them. I try not to look at weather forecasts exactly for that reason, because they are willing to lie to their viewers. And I just stare at them and say, okay, this isn't typical fall weather. It might be typical now, but it isn't typical fall weather for the last 500 years in this area of the country. It's only been typical for the last 10 years, while the Republicans have been destroying the environment. So that's all. It's typical for that, but not for the rest. But I don't say that out loud, because talking out loud to your iPad would be a little crazy, wouldn't it? Well, then we have a bunch of other... This is another day where we have a healthy mail selection. So let's go through these and just hope that we don't get stopped again. That would be great. We'll go through these and see what we have. Okay, the first one is a winner. This is Jingle All the Way by Debbie Meycomber, a Christmas novel from one of the queens of romance, of cozy romance, comfortable romance. She can sometimes not be that. She can sometimes have a fairly hard edge to her stories, but the Christmas books almost never do, and I don't imagine this one will. So great. A hardcover. Again, it comes from the warehouse, not from the publicist's little cubicle, so it doesn't have a sell sheet in it. So I don't know when it comes out, but I'm assuming that everything I'm getting in hardcover will be out in this month, in October. Let's see here. Trapped in the middle of 5 siblings, Everly Lancaster always had big dreams. Now a top real estate executive, Everly finds that her work is her life, leaving no space for anything or anyone else. Sensing her stress, Everly's boss insists she take December off. At first, a month away seems crazy. How will the company survive without her? But Everly's mother convinces her otherwise. She deserves a vacation. Plus, when she returns, she'll have no excuse to skip family Christmas like she did last year. But after her vengeful assistant books a guided cruise on the Amazon instead of a luxury beach vacation she expected, Everly is horrified to realize she's about to spend the next 2 weeks trapped with no Wi-Fi in the middle of a rainforest. Not even Asher Adams, the ship's charming naturalist, can convince Everly that the trip will be unforgettable. Slowly but surely, though, she realizes he is right. The sights are spectacular, and with each passing day, Everly's relationship with Asher deepens, forcing her to take a long, hard look at her priorities. Okay, Everly and Asher. I guess John and Joan are out of the question. But that's great. Fantastic. Always up for Debbie Meycomber. Always. She will please you. So let's see what this next one is. All right, this one comes with a pub sheet, and this is also a finished copy. It's a finished copy of something we've seen before. This comes out in early October, just on Tuesday. This is Pankaj Mishra, Bland Fanatics, Liberals, Race, and Empire. And we have a whole bunch of blurbs here, just an enormous amount of blurbs. Do we have anything about the book? Oh my god, even more blurbs. Okay, all right, the pub sheet doesn't tell me anything. Let's do this as if we didn't get a pub sheet. In America and in England, faltering economies at home and failed wars abroad have generated a political and intellectual hysteria. It is a derangement manifested in a number of ways: nostalgia for imperialism, xenophobic paranoia, and denunciations of an allegedly intolerant left. These symptoms can be found even among the most informed of Anglo-America. In this book, the author examines the politics and culture of this hysteria, challenging the dominant establishment discourses of our times. In essays that grapple with the meaning and content of Anglo-American liberalism and its relationship with colonialism, Mishra confronts writers such as Jordan Peterson, Neil Ferguson, and Salman Rushdie. He describes the doubling down of an intelligentsia against a background of weakening Anglo-American hegemony, and he explores the commitments of Ta-Nehisi Coates and the ideological determinations of the economist. Okay, so that is meant to make this sound unified, but this is probably just a collection of occasional essays from the New York Review of Books, the London Review of Books, the Guardian, the New Yorker. That writers sometimes tend to do that. They sometimes tend to repackage what is essentially a reprint volume of collected reviews, as though all of those reviews were written with an ideological framework in mind. They weren't, other than the author is the same person who's writing each piece. But nevertheless, I can forgive authors for conceits like that, because this is a terrific author, for instance. And this being a collection of reviews will probably ended up in this room at the end of the year. I have the bookcase right there is all collected books like this. And this is all stuff I've probably read everything in here at one point or another in their home environment, other than The Economist. Having them in one book will be great. Although I can tell already that I'm going to disagree with the main overarching contention that he has, which is that this is some sort of pan-Western phenomenon that really needs to be fought and that really needs to be examined for its causes and its ideology and all that, when that is not true. The cause is Donald Trump. The cause is simply and solely Donald Trump. If he had not lit a match to all of these noxious behaviors and ideas, they would have remained dormant. They would have remained the type of thing that decent people suppress and that indecent people say, but only on the fringes of society, hated by decent people. That is not true now, but only because of Donald Trump. Not because of there's some sort of, I don't even know, some sort of Stepford wave of hysteria that's going through the world. All the other countries that are acting this way have been emboldened by Donald Trump. But we shall see. This was not written. The point I'm trying to make is that this was not written. It was assembled. No matter what the pub sheet is very well intentionally trying to make you believe, this was not. Pangau's Rishna did not start off 2 years ago thinking, well, all right, I got this brief from the LRB and they're offering me $4,200 and I've got X amount of word space and here's my deadline, but how will it fit in the book that I'm writing? He didn't think that, and neither does any other writer when they repackage their reviews to be that way, to sound like they are, like it's part of their ongoing project or something like that. None of them ever thought that, and he didn't think that. But he's brilliant, so I don't really care. I'll read it anyway. Let's see what this next one is. Not a finished copy. These could all be finished copies. Okay, great. This one also has a pub sheet. Fantastic. Always up for that. This comes out in November. This comes out in early November from the folks at W.W. Norton. This is a murder mystery. Head Wounds by Michael McGarity, a Kevin Kearney novel. There's a canyon with a river running through it. The river is blood red. Very, very subtle but very evocative cover design there. The stunning conclusion to a series spanning 14 novels, Head Wounds, follows Clayton Isti, son of retired police chief Kevin Kearney, as he goes up against an elusive Mexican hitman in a mesmerizing story of murder and revenge and redemption. Okay, so the main character's son is the protagonist here. Given a chance to salvage his law enforcement career, Detective Clayton Isti catches a bizarre late-night double homicide at Las Cruces Hotel. Both victims, a man and a woman, have been scalped with their throats cut. The murder shows all the signs of a signature hit, but national and state crime databases reveal no similar profiles. Digging into the victim's background, Clayton discovers that 6 months prior, the couple had walked out of a nearby casino with $200,000 of a high-stakes gambler's money. He also learns the crime has been hushed up by an undercover federal DEA agent who resurfaces and recruits Clayton for a dangerous mission to seize the Mexican drug lord responsible for the killings. Thrust into the nightmare world of borderland drug wars and corrupt cops, Clayton duels with a cunning assassin poised to kill him and his family in a ferocious climax to the Kevin Kearney series that is sure to stun. Okay, so my number one question, you can see it coming a mile away, is do I have to be familiar with the series in order to like this book? I'm not familiar with the series, and I always maintain that it's the author's job, not mine, to get me up to speed. It's the author's job to make this book comprehensible to me, and it is most certainly a mark against the author if the author doesn't do that. If this is just fan service for the people who've been there for the first 14 books, that is bad. I'm going to have to assume that Michael McGarity won't do that. I'm going to have to assume that this is a standalone book in its own way. That it might have nods or favors to people who followed all along, but that it will be comprehensible as a book on its own. I'm going to have to hope for that. Michael McGarity is the author of the nationally best-selling Kevin Kearney crime novels and the American West trilogy historical novels. A former psychotherapist and deputy sheriff, he lives in Santa Fe, New Mexico. To the best of my knowledge, I've never read any of the other books in this series. It's been a long time. Obviously, the series has been going on for a long time, so I might be wrong about that. I'll have to look at the titles and maybe the covers online and see. But I will read this in November, either way. So then we've got this next one here. What have we got here? Oh my, it's a bunch of books. Oh goodness, it's a bunch of books. What have we got here? Do we have a pub sheet of any kind? No? No, we do not. All right. I don't have a pub sheet, but I am familiar with this because I was emailing the publicist. Oh, these are even lovelier than I thought they'd be. Good Lord. Well, with one exception. One exception is going to please a lot of you. This is a series from Penguin called Letters of Note, which is they are collections of letters on themes in lovely little volumes. Let me show you these. Make sure that the lighting is right to do them justice. This is music, compiled by Sean Usher, and you've got the deckled edges and deep French flaps, so that you can use these as bookmarks if you want to. And this is letters about music, from Beethoven to Verdi to Keith Richards to Kim Gordon. Tune into the evocative expressions of treasured composers, musicians, singers, and writers in this enchanting volume from the compiler of the Letters of Note collections. And that's what this is. This is a collection of letters, some of them typeset to be the whole page, some of them just to read a cute little volume of letters from all kinds of famous people about music. And this is a series. So the next one is on love. Letters of Note, love. Same thing. Deep French flaps, wonderful deckled edges. This one is also compiled by Sean Usher. And what have we got here? From Napoleon Bonaparte to Frida Kahlo to Simone de Beauvoir to Nelson Mandela, a glimpse the ardor of artists, writers, spouses, and more in this touching collection of beautiful missives from the compiler of the best-selling Letters of Note collections. And this is, again, the same thing. It's letters, only here themed about love. Then we have one on war. Same thing. What have we got here? Alexander Hamilton, William Sherman, Kurt Vonnegut, and more offer a nuanced and moving look at the act of war in this powerful new volume. Evelyn Waugh, President Lincoln, a whole bunch of letters centering on the theme of war. And then the final one, cats. Letters of Note, cats, about the evil that walks among us. From the compiler of the best-selling Letters of Note collections comes this irresistible new volume of affectionate missives about our feline companions. From Charles Dickens, Raymond Chandler, Anne Frank, Elizabeth Taylor, and more. Notice how all of those people are dead. Coincidence? I think not. And there you have these, but I believe, if I remember correctly, these can also be got as a big collection. Maybe more than one. Maybe these are just fragments off the whole. But as fragments, talk about presents. Ready-made presents to give somebody. That is just amazing. What are these things? They are, they're going to tell me $15 a piece. These are beautiful for $15 a piece. With lovely designs, and with, you ordinarily see, we've seen ourselves on this channel many, many times, letter collections, Norton and Oxford and whatnot, that can sometimes group things by date. So you get, February 6th across 4 different centuries. Or sometimes group things by month, where the different chapters will be months of the year, again, sorted chronologically. But these are done by theme, which is fascinating in its own right, because then you're watching the letters form a conversation with each other on the same theme. How fantastic. I knew this was coming, and I love the idea, but I didn't know these would be so pretty. These are really pretty. These are the thing that screams out when I look at them is that they would make a perfect occasional gift. You know, for especially for that book lover, you know, who is really picky to choose, really difficult to get a book present for. Well, they're not going to have this because it's never been done before. They're not, and they're also going to be interested in these because any reader is going to connect with at least some of the authors and at least some of these volumes. So, wow, fantastic. Okay, wow, that's a surprise. I didn't expect those to be quite so nice. So, let's see here. Let's see what this next one is. Oh no, this next one is also multiple books. Okay, why, I wonder. Okay, these are from Bloomsbury, and it's 2 books, 2 advance copies, both coming out in the new year. Yes? Yes, both coming out in the new year. So I don't have to worry about them right now, but we can still see them. This first one is Devils, Lusts, and Strange Desires, The Life of Patricia Highsmith by Richard Bradford. Some of you remember the last Patricia Highsmith biography. It was 3 times this size. What have we got here? A vivid portrait of the acclaimed author Patricia Highsmith, published to coincide with the 100th anniversary of her birth in 1921. Good Lord. Made famous by the great success of her psychological thrillers, The Talented Mr. Ripley and Strangers on a Train, Patricia Highsmith is lauded as one of the great modern writers. However, there has never been a clear picture of the woman behind the books. Well, there has been a clear picture. There was a Patricia Highsmith book just about, 6 years ago? Maybe even less than that? It was longer ago than we've been talking to each other. So it was before 2016, but it wasn't that much earlier than that. And it was pretty exhaustive. I mean, this thing could be just as good, but that biography, for instance, will certainly feature in the bibliography of this book. But again, let's keep in mind, the pub sheet is not the book. So let's see here. The triangular relationship between Highsmith's lesbianism, her fraught personality, by parts self-destructive and malicious, and her fiction has been largely avoided by other biographers. What? It's their starting point. Anyway, let's keep going. She was openly lesbian and would, in modern times, be venerated as a radical exponent of an LGBT lifestyle. However, her status as an exemplar of gay radicalism is undermined by the incontrovertible fact that she was gratuitously cruel and exploitative of her lovers. In this new biography, Richard Bradford brings his sharp, incisive style, that will be the key to this book, to one of the great and most controversial writers of the 20th century. He considers Highsmith's bestsellers in the context of her troubled personal life, her alcoholism, her anti-Semitism, and her misogyny. Okay, I think that's explaining the choice of cover photo. All right, great. Okay, so this comes out in late January. Probably get reviewed widely, I would think. People love to write about Patricia Highsmith. And this next one, I believe, is also a biography. It's 2 biographies in one envelope. Yeah, this is also a biography. Great. Fantastic. All right, this is coming out, again, in the end of January. This is by Alex Christofi, and it's called Dostoevsky in Love, An Intimate Life. There's a Dostoevsky picture you won't usually see associated with a Dostoevsky biography, and this is not to be confused with Dostoevsky in Space, a great booktube channel. This is Dostoevsky in Love. A highly original and immersive new biography of Fyodor Dostoevsky, published to mark the 200th anniversary of his birth. So 100 years for Patricia Highsmith, 200 years for Dostoevsky. Dostoevsky's life was marked by brilliance and brutality. Sentenced to death as a young revolutionary, he survived mock execution and Siberian exile to live through a time of seismic change in Russia, eventually being accepted into the Tsar's inner circle. He had 3 great love affairs, each overshadowed by debilitating epilepsy and addiction to gambling. Somehow, amidst all of this, he found time to write short stories, journalism, and novels such as Crime and Punishment, The Idiot, and The Brothers Karamazov, works now recognized among the finest ever written. Did we mention Crime and Punishment? Would that be this Crime and Punishment? Would it perhaps be this novel, Crime and Punishment? With that cover blurb? I just happen to have it sitting by. I don't know how you people stand me. I really don't. Reading between the lines of his fiction, Christofi reconstructs the memoir Dostoevsky might have written had life and literary stardom not intervened. He gives us a new portrait of the artist as never seen before, a shy but devoted lover, an empathetic friend of the people, a loyal brother and friend, and a writer able to penetrate the very depths of the human soul. Okay, all right, but Dostoevsky has not lacked for biographers, and they have all given us that Dostoevsky. So, again, like with the Highsmith book, the key here is going to be the execution. It's going to be how good a job the writer does. But neither one of these books, they're both intriguing. These are both going to get, I bet, reviewed a lot. But neither one of them is breaking new ground. The pub sheet ought not to promise that. But anyway, they both sound fascinating. They don't directly involve me in 2020. I'm not going to read any 2021 books in 2020. But when I hit the ground running in January, I hope to read them and review them. And then we have this final one, another box, another present. This one, the return address is not illegible. The return address is the Wethersfield Proctor Library up in Vermont, which is one of my favorite libraries in the whole of the world. Tiny little place. Tiny, tiny little place. The Wethersfield Public Library, for those of you who are new to the channel. And for those of you also, I noticed a few people who are not only new to my channel, but new to BookTube. We have a BookTuber. He's a little bit busy, so he doesn't post as often as any of us would like. Mark Richardson of Richardson Reads. He is the library director of the Wethersfield Proctor Library, a tiny little library in Vermont that has been visited by Miss Bean. She has visited the Wethersfield Proctor Library a few times and skittered her way around inside. So what have we got? What have we got from Vermont? I just recently, Frida and I together, both just recently visited Vermont. And it was a ton of fun. It was a ton of fun. I had to quarantine. I had according to Vermont, you have to be in self-quarantine for 2 weeks if you're going to go up there, if you're going to cross the border. And I did. And it was worth it. It was worth it in the first few minutes, much less than the whole visit. And so I'm strongly considering quarantining again. Strongly considering doing that for October. It's no skin off my nose to quarantine. It isn't hard to do at all. So maybe I will and go back up there. But what did they send me? The folks, the Richardson family does not have to abide by my stricture against sending gifts, because we're pretty close, so they can send me anything they want. What is this, Bean? What is this? Oh. What is, oh my. Oh, isn't this lovely? Oh my! This is from one of Mark's librarians who sent me a present. She says, that she she says rather controversially. She says that Mark continues to assure her that I am in fact a real person. I think that's going a bit far, but look at this. Isn't that lovely? How autumnal! How fantastic! And this is just wonderful. Thank you so much. You know who you are. Thank you so much. How wonderful. Some of you may know from earlier videos that I recently rescued my desk, my old wooden desk. It was just another table out in the kitchen. And I thought, no, as a place to work, let's reinstate it as a place to work, as a piece of furniture. So I hauled it out from storage in the kitchen, or not I did, my boys did, and I had my boys wash it down everywhere and then apply liberal amounts of wax and polish to it, and I installed it in the bricked up old fireplace in the other room, that had once been blocked by bookcases, and so I have a place to put this, is what I'm trying to say. I have a desk where I can put this. That's wonderful. How wonderful. Okay, well, that wasn't a bad mail haul at all. Let's see if we can do a celebrated Steve Pyramid here. We have Head Wounds, the very last Kevin Kearney novel. We have Bland Fanatics, a collection of reviews by Pankaj Mishra. We have Jingle All the Way, the new Christmas novel from Debbie Meycomber. We have Dostoevsky in Love, again, not to be confused with Dostoevsky in Space. that is Christy Lewis. She has a great booktube channel. If you don't know about it, I'll leave a link to it down below, but it's not the same thing. Then we have Devils, Lusts, and Strange Desires, a new, sounds like muckraking biography of Patricia Highsmith. We have The Moon Woke Me Up 9 Times, translation of Bashot's haiku, sent from one of you. I missed it completely. It's not known to me, so I'll be glad to give it a go. And Letters of Note, these little individual collections of letters of note on different themes. We have war, love, music, and cats. Sure that there are plenty of canonical letters out there on dogs, but we have cats instead. It's okay. And plus, a lovely piece of artwork. How wonderful. Well, all right, as mail hauls go, that's not bad at all. So I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. And this third filming was a charm. it was a charm. It worked. So I'm gonna cut my losses and exit stage left. But I will be back. Thank you, BookTube.